Welcome to the podcast, Soulful Thoughts from Ireland. My name, Meghan. My work, writing, mentoring and mystic teaching, bringing the wisdom of old into our present reality. We humans are wonderful creatures who love stories of our inner and outer lives and how they intertwine as we embark upon this grand pilgrimage of life and death and life again. I welcome you to my interior and exterior life as I journey into the Irish land, sea, and stories with my ancestors. The podcast today, The Return. At dusk, that liminal twilight time, October 2019 on Samhain, the Celtic celebration of the Day of the Dead, or All Souls' Night, my Irish grandmother, who has been long deceased, came to me in a vision and told me, "It is time to go home, to the land and the sea." She then showed me what appeared to be Ireland. However, as my birthplace of New Zealand has very similar geographical vistas, I felt a query within me whether it was actually New Zealand that she was drawing me to. Clearly aware of my quandary, my grandmother placed Celtic music in my ear and proceeded to reveal the many faces of my ancient Celtic lineage, my heritage of ancient belonging. It was clear that it was the land of Ireland that she was calling me to. And so, being the mystic traveler that I am, and always following the direction of the Spirit, even when it goes against my own plans, I began my preparations for a lengthy visit to Ireland in the spring and summer of 2020 to look at the possibility of moving there in the future. And then in those early spring months of 2020, as we know, everything changed. Would I let something as large as a world pandemic stop me from following the advice of my grandmother? If you knew the beautiful fierceness of my Irish granny, and if you could feel the urgency that was within my soul, you would understand my determination to go ahead. And go ahead I did, completely upending my life, and in 3 days making an unforeseen early departure to arrive in Ireland 1 week before the first lockdown. And so my life has been unfolding on and into the Irish soil ever since. The land here in Ireland is imbued with the magical, with that mysterious stillness, asking me to linger in long hours and not demand or succumb to the instant stimulation required of or coming from a nervous and anxious heart. The land here soothes me and asks me to enter an ancient belonging, a heritage of long ago, yet equally alive now for those who choose to stop, come into the stillness and listen. But what of this stillness in humanity? Does it really exist today? It seems to me that one of the initial gifts in the early days of the pandemic with the abrupt halting of life, was that we could finally hear the soul and the body's cry to reclaim its natural stillness. There was a great breath of relief, even in the midst of shock and horror. There was a sanity returning to our bones, as weary exhaustion could finally find rest. But what of that stillness now? Have we truly reclaimed it, nurtured it, and are we living it? Or have we supplanted a false belief that because our bodies are still, through copious amounts of computer consumption, that true stillness has arrived? As the world reopens, what are we returning to? What are we returning to? And how are we returning? A quote from T.S. Eliot. So the darkness shall be the light, and the stillness the dancing. So the darkness shall be the light, and the stillness the dancing. Have we truly drawn forth the light from the darkness? And do we know how to dance in the stillness? I return again and again to the land of stillness that welcomes me and slowly reveals itself. Dandelion and hawthorn blooms come back to life from the winter silence. Life emerges from gnarled and brown withered ferns. There are fields of these ferns, returning to their verdant greening, their vibrancy of life, with no aid apart from following their natural rhythm of living. Do we humans even have a rhythm anymore? Do we allow ourselves to die off and restore? Or are we afraid we will be left behind in this great seething informational reality that life has become? What of the true fertility of our life? Breathe and be still. Breathe and be still. Be still and know. Let the sanity return to your ancient bones. Let the light of ancestral wisdom take you into and through the darkness. May you lie down in the soil of your soul and listen to her soft voice singing to you in the gentle, calming breeze of your mind. May we return. May we all return to dancing in the stillness. So that is our podcast for today. Please visit me on meghandawn.life to see upcoming offerings for earth meditations, courses on feminine courage, or to join the list for a pilgrimage to Ireland, either as a group or as a solo retreat. And please do join me for the next podcast on the fertility of the land. Wishing you all good health and peace of mind and soul. Shlan.